The return of my Coin Lady channel brings me much joy. It's likely that you were unaware of this. We could be entering a new monetary system powered by XRP or Ripple as a result of the present collaboration between the G20, the IMF, and other governing agencies to cancel all of the world's debt. Things are now underway, and XRP is stated often in all of their material. Nonetheless, if you find this completely ridiculous, you are not alone. I felt the same way when I initially heard about it. In today's video, I will explain everything in detail since, to be honest, it is very amazing. Plus, we received a huge upgrade yesterday that no one seems to be talking about, but which you should be aware of. So, with that out of the way, hit that like button and I'll show you the video. Therefore, I'd like to begin by referencing a formal paper from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, World Bank that praises XRP as the most suitable payment method for international transactions that is available right now. Two digital currencies that fit this description are RippleNet's native money, XRP, and Stellar Networks XLM, as we can see in this example. Ripple Labs is a US-based technology company that developed a real-time gross settlement system, currency exchange, and remittance network called Ripple. The network allows multinational corporations to settle cross-border payments using XRP, and it handles 1,500 transactions per second with a cost of just a fraction of a penny. Each transaction also destroys a small fraction of XRP, so the total supply of XRP decreases over time and, in theory, maintains its value. In their official literature, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, praises Ripple as the optimal method for cross-border payments. Then we can find a familiar face on their official advisory council for technology and finance. Allow me a moment, and I'll check if anyone can find it. My mouse is located here, therefore I guess that must be it. Chris Larson of Ripple is listed as a member of their high-level advisory committee for technology and finance. The International Monetary Fund is guiding a groundbreaking digital revolution in the financial sector, so if you don't think this is significant, I'll quickly dispel your misconception. Several more notable figures, including the CEO of Alibaba, are now visible on this list as well. Professor Robert Merton from MIT is just one of many individuals engaged. Erwin Harinho from the Bank of Indonesia is just one more. And it's no surprise that these individuals are currently meeting with a plethora of other prominent figures in the field. One of such is the Group of 20, G20. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term, let's learn more about it. Thus, the foremost worldwide venue for debating economic matters is the Group of 20, an informal meeting of numerous of the world's biggest economies. Nevertheless, naturally, it has encountered disagreements about climate change, trade, and the conflict in Ukraine. Still, these summits include representatives from the EU, Canada, and a plethora of other G20 nations. They also discuss the future of finance and its potential directions. Of course, Ripple is a common topic of discussion in these kind of discussions. Thus, I would like to draw attention to an event that occurred quite recently in Brazil. So, ISO 2022-2 compliance is definitely something you're all familiar with by now. Well, as we can see from this post, the future of finance is looking brighter with ISO and API harmonization. Brazil recently played home to a Group of 20 meeting that included the BIS and the FSB. The Bank for International Settlements was just like that. Everything is proceeding as expected. This is massive, isn't it? We're referring to the individuals who are, naturally, making it possible for all these cryptocurrency projects to be ISO compliant. Convening with the BIS. They're engaged in these discussions. Listen up, this is crucial. You can see that the BIS values and pursues the goal of deeper cooperation in this LinkedIn post depicting all of these individuals together at the G20 Brazil, 2024. While in Rio de Janeiro for the G20 Conference of Finance Ministers, central bank governors, and deputy heads of both institutions, representatives from the BIS and BIS hosted the Financial Stability Board. Working together, we tackled problems that the international banking sector was experiencing. They put forth effort to demonstrate the Basel process's main feature, the seamless teamwork. There are a lot of people participating, including Andrea M. Matler, who is the deputy manager at BIS. In these enormous gatherings, whether it's the G20 as a whole, the Bank for International Settlements, or some other organization, our participation in all of these debates is vital if we want to see XRP's widespread acceptance. We are participating in these conversations, as you can see for yourself. Everything is going to be changed by XRP, and we are bringing all this information and education to the table. This also relies heavily on the International Monetary Fund, IMF, describing us and our many advantages. Since the International Monetary Fund is also involved in a great deal of activity, I would want to look into it a bit further now. The IMF is now supporting a number of indebted poor countries through various programs, including the IPC initiative. In addition, the manner in which these impoverished nations will be assisted will bear resemblance to the financial revolution, in which XRP is expected to play a pivotal role. The HIPC program receives 44% of its funding from the International Monetary Fund and other multilateral agencies, while the remaining 66% comes from bilateral creditors. Several entities provide funds for such endeavors. Plus, by the end of 2017, the entire amount of the aid provided under the HIPC initiative was anticipated to reach around $76 billion. Here is a complete list of all the nations that have been receiving aid up until the year 2024. Countless poor nations are receiving enormous, life-altering aid, including Afghanistan, Gambia, Benin, Bolivia, and countless more. So many names are familiar to you. Here you can see Haiti, Chad, and countless other countries that the IMF has helped transform. The IMF is teaching these nations how to utilize decentralized technologies to effectively rebel against their governments. For the most part, governments that print ridiculous quantities of money are to blame for the economic woes of the nations in question. Just think about the havoc that would wreak havoc on your economy if your government decided to print $10 trillion while your GDP is only $100 billion. All that money floating around won't ever help you out in any way, shape, or form. The government is taking advantage of you to enrich itself at your cost and drain your life savings through taxes. The sad thing is that this has occurred in a lot of nations. What then is their plan of action? Instead of subscribing to the government's solution, which is somewhat expensive, the goal should be to establish an entirely new system, correct? For example, XRP exemplifies this, which is why the IMF is constantly mentioning and shaming them. And so, many lives are already being improved, and they will be improved even more if we keep having these fantastic meetings and launching these fantastic initiatives. And now for the most exciting part, something I haven't told you yet: the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, and the Group of 20 are all planning to collaborate in order to create a new global financial system, and they are in constant, direct communication with none other than Ripple. So, what gives? Why? Because Ripple has already built every single piece of technology that will power their new monetary system. It's obvious that they will use this because, well, to be honest, they already have the system built. What's great about the Ripple team is that they're working tirelessly every day to make sure that all of these organizations' needs are met. In every single one of these events, in Tokyo, China, South America, you name it, you'll see Brad Garlinghouse taking the stage and delivering a speech. He wants his company and the XRPL to be the driving forces behind it, which is fantastic, but seriously, they constantly listen, talk, and participate in these conversations. I believe we can all agree that this should happen. Seeing my video is an honor. Bye for now, and please subscribe and like my channel.